China has made a major minerals breakthrough off its east coast, uncovering what officials say is Asia's largest undersea gold deposit.
For centuries, people believed giant gold discoveries were over. Then, deep underground in China, geologists uncovered an estimated $83 billion in gold, possibly the largest find ever. Here's what happened when scientists stumbled upon what might be the single largest treasure chest on Earth. The discovery that shook global markets. November 2024 changed everything for the gold industry. In Pingjiang County, located in China's Hunan province, a team from the Geological Bureau of Hunan province drilled down roughly 6,600 feet into the earth. What they found stopped them in their tracks. The rock cores they pulled up showed something geologists rarely see: visible gold. Not microscopic particles requiring complex analysis, but gold you could see with your own eyes. The initial findings were remarkable enough. They identified 40 distinct gold veins running through the rock. These veins alone contained an estimated 330 tons of gold ore. To put that in perspective, that's enough gold to fill several Olympic swimming pools. But here's where things get truly extraordinary. The geologists conducted 3D modeling of the underground formation, mapping out the rock layers that extended far deeper than their initial drilling. The results suggested something almost unbelievable. According to their projections, the deposit could extend down to nearly 10,000 feet below the surface. At those depths, the modeling indicated there might be another 700 tons or more of gold waiting to be extracted. If their calculations prove accurate, the total deposit could contain somewhere between 1,000 and 1,100 tons of gold. That would make it worth approximately 600 billion yuan, which translates to roughly 83 billion US dollars. Chen Rulin, one of the lead ore prospecting experts on the project, made a statement that sent shockwaves through the mining community. Many of the drilled rock cores showed visible gold, he explained, a phenomenon that's extremely rare in modern mining operations. But the quality of this deposit goes beyond what anyone expected, and that's what has everyone talking. The gold that defies all standards. If you thought finding $1 billion worth of gold was impressive, wait until you hear about the quality of what they discovered. In the gold mining industry, there's a standard measurement that determines whether a deposit is worth pursuing. Miners measure gold concentration in grams per ton of ore. Most commercial mining operations work with ore that contains somewhere between 1 to 8 grams of gold per ton of rock. Anything above 8 grams is considered high-grade ore, the kind that makes mining companies very happy. The Wanggu gold field in Hunan province shattered those expectations completely. Some of the ore samples tested showed concentrations of 138 grams of gold per ton. That's not a typo. We're talking about ore that's roughly 17 times richer than what's typically considered excellent quality. This level of gold concentration is virtually unheard of in modern large-scale mining operations. It means that every ton of rock processed yields significantly more gold than miners would normally expect. Why does this matter so much? Think about the economics for a moment. Mining gold costs money. You need to extract the rock, transport it to processing facilities, crush it into powder, separate the gold using chemical processes, and then refine it into pure metal. All of these steps consume energy, require specialized equipment, and employ hundreds of workers. When ore contains only a few grams of gold per ton, these costs can barely justify the operation. But when you're working with ore containing 138 grams per ton, suddenly the profit margins skyrocket. The discovery team conducted additional test drills around the peripheral areas of the initial find. Those results suggested something even more intriguing. The high-grade ore extends beyond what they initially mapped. There could be multiple zones of similarly rich deposits scattered throughout the region, and that raises an unsettling question. How much more gold lies hidden in these mountains, waiting to be found? China's golden ambition. Here's something that might surprise you. China already dominates the global gold market. Even before this discovery, China held reserves exceeding 2,000 tons of gold. The country produces about 10% of all gold mined worldwide each year. They're the planet's top gold producer, and they've held that position for years. But there's a twist to this story that most people don't realize. Despite being the world's largest producer, China consumes roughly 3 times more gold than it mines annually. Think about that for a moment. The nation pulls more gold out of the ground than any other country on Earth, yet it still has to import massive quantities from other nations to meet domestic demand. This makes China not only the largest producer, but also the largest importer of gold globally. The country's appetite for the precious metal seems almost insatiable. Where does all this gold go? A significant portion flows into jewelry manufacturing. Gold holds deep cultural significance in Chinese tradition, symbolizing wealth, prosperity, and good fortune. During celebrations like the Lunar New Year, gold gifts exchange hands as symbols of blessing and success. Wedding ceremonies often involve elaborate gold jewelry, representing the financial security of the new family. This cultural affinity creates constant, reliable demand that mining operations struggle to satisfy. Beyond cultural uses, China's central bank has been steadily increasing its gold reserves as part of a broader economic strategy. Like many nations, China views gold as a hedge against currency fluctuations and economic instability. When global markets become volatile or geopolitical tensions rise, gold maintains its value better than most other assets. By holding substantial gold reserves, countries can stabilize their currency and protect their economic position during turbulent times. The Wangu discovery changes the equation dramatically. If this deposit can be successfully mined, it could reduce China's dependence on gold imports from countries like Australia and South Africa. More importantly, it positions China to potentially influence global gold prices by controlling a larger share of available supply, and that kind of market power has implications that extend far beyond simple economics. The $83 billion question. Let's talk about what $83 billion in gold actually means. When the discovery was announced, gold prices responded immediately. The commodity surged to nearly $2,700 per ounce, approaching record highs. Financial analysts scrambled to revise their projections for the global gold market. Some predicted prices could climb even higher, potentially reaching $3,000 per ounce in the coming years. Others worried about what increased Chinese production might do to global supply dynamics. The market reaction reveals something important about how gold functions in the modern economy. Unlike most commodities, gold doesn't follow typical supply and demand rules. When news broke about this massive new deposit, you might expect prices to drop. After all, a sudden increase in supply should theoretically decrease value, right? But gold markets don't work that way. Instead, prices jumped. Why? Because the discovery signals that gold remains a scarce resource, valuable enough to justify expensive deep mining operations. This underground discovery revealed one of the world's largest gold deposits in history, but accessing it requires massive investment. Mining companies will need to sink shafts nearly 2 miles into the earth. They'll need to build processing facilities capable of handling hundreds of thousands of tons of ore monthly. The infrastructure alone will cost billions of dollars before a single ounce of gold gets refined. China's government has already indicated plans to invest over 20 billion yuan, about $2.8 billion, in developing the necessary mining operations. The timeline for production provides another layer of complexity. From the moment a gold deposit is discovered until it begins producing refined bullion typically takes 10 to 20 years. You hear that right, and it might sound excessive, but it reflects the reality of modern mining. Companies must conduct extensive geological surveys to map the deposit precisely. They need to secure permits, conduct environmental impact studies, design extraction methods, build processing plants, and establish transportation networks. Each step takes time and money. Even with accelerated development, the Wangu gold field won't start contributing to global supply for years. During that time, demand continues to grow while supply from existing mines gradually depletes. It creates a strange paradox. Simply knowing that a massive supply exists in the future is enough to push prices higher today. Why does gold remain so highly valued today, even in an era dominated by cryptocurrencies and digital assets? Why gold still matters in a digital age? The value of gold lies in its unique properties and its 5,000-year history as a store of value. Gold doesn't rust, corrode, or deteriorate. You can bury it in the ground for centuries, and it emerges looking exactly the same. Try that with paper money, and you'll understand why gold has outlasted thousands of failed currencies throughout human history. Modern applications for gold extend far beyond jewelry and investment. Your smartphone probably contains a tiny amount of gold. The metal's exceptional electrical conductivity makes it ideal for circuit boards and connectors. Gold doesn't corrode, which means electronic components using gold connections remain reliable for decades. Gold's value goes far beyond aesthetics. It performs in ways that directly impact human lives. Its biocompatibility and resistance to oxidation make it indispensable in medical technology. In pacemakers, for instance, microscopic gold components ensure flawless, long-term function deep inside the human body. Those same properties are critical in surgical implants, dental restorations, and sophisticated diagnostic equipment where failure is not an option. Aerospace engineers incorporate gold into satellite systems and spacecraft because it reflects infrared radiation while remaining stable in extreme temperatures. These industrial applications consume hundreds of tons of gold annually, creating steady demand that exists completely separate from investment or jewelry markets. As technology advances, new applications for gold continue to emerge. Scientists have even created something called goldine, a one-atom thick form of gold similar to graphene, with properties that could revolutionize electronics and materials science. This means future demand for gold might increase rather than decrease as technology evolves. But there's another reason gold matters so much right now. Global economic uncertainty has reached levels not seen in decades. Trade tensions between major powers create market volatility. Inflation concerns persist despite efforts by central banks to stabilize prices. Geopolitical conflicts disrupt supply chains and threaten economic stability. In this environment, investors flee to assets they trust. Gold has survived the fall of empires, the collapse of currencies, and every economic crisis in recorded history. That track record gives it credibility that newer assets simply cannot match. Central banks worldwide have been accumulating gold reserves at rates not seen since the 1970s. They're not doing this because gold pays interest or generates income. They're doing it because gold represents a form of wealth that exists independent of any government's promises or policies. When trust in financial systems wavers, gold remains. But finding gold is one thing. Getting it out of the ground is something else entirely. The hidden costs of extraction. The process of transforming rock containing 138 grams of gold per ton into pure bullion requires an industrial operation of staggering complexity. First, mining companies need to break the gold-bearing rock loose from the earth. At depths of nearly 10,000 feet, this means drilling holes, packing them with explosives, and detonating carefully controlled blasts that fracture the rock without destroying the mine structure. Heavy machinery then scoops up the broken rock and transports it to the surface. But this is just the beginning. Imagine this process applied to the colossal veins discovered deep beneath China, hundreds of tons waiting to be transformed. The rocks arrive at processing facilities where massive crushers reduce them to gravel-sized pieces. Then rotating drums filled with steel balls grind the gravel into fine powder. This powder gets mixed with water to create a thick slurry that flows through separation systems. Here's where chemistry takes over from brute force. It's the same painstaking sequence that would be needed to unlock the value of one of the world's largest gold deposits. The most common method for extracting gold from powdered ore involves cyanide, a highly toxic chemical that must be handled with extreme care. When mixed with oxygen in the presence of gold, cyanide creates a chemical reaction that dissolves the gold out of the surrounding rock. Small grains of activated carbon then absorb the dissolved gold from the solution. Workers separate the carbon from the liquid, then use heat and caustic chemicals to strip the gold away from the carbon granules. The gold-bearing solution flows into electrowinning cells, where electrical current causes pure gold to plate onto metal terminals. These terminals get melted in furnaces at temperatures exceeding 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. Chemical flux added to the molten metal separates the gold from impurities, allowing workers to pour pure molten gold into molds. These crude bars still need further refining, but they represent the first step toward creating the pure gold that investors recognize. If this process were applied to the enormous Chinese deposit, the scale of the resulting gold could redefine the industry. This entire process, from explosion to gold bar, can take 5 days or more for each batch of ore. The environmental impact is significant. Mining operations use enormous amounts of water and energy. Chemical waste from the extraction process must be carefully managed to prevent contamination. The land itself gets permanently altered by the excavation, and there's the human cost. Mining remains one of the most dangerous occupations worldwide, with thousands of workers injured or killed annually in accidents. But how could China's discovery of the Wanggu goldfield reshape global markets? influence geopolitical power, and hint at even larger untapped deposits. What this means for the future. The Wanggu goldfield discovery represents more than just wealth buried in rock. It's a statement about the future of global resource competition. China's control over such a massive gold reserve gives it leverage in international markets. The country can influence prices by adjusting production rates. It can stockpile gold to strengthen its currency reserves. It can use gold as a strategic asset in negotiations with other nations. That kind of power has geopolitical implications that extend far beyond commodity trading. Experts predict gold prices could reach $5,000 or even $6,000 per ounce by 2027, driven by continued central bank purchases and growing investor demand amid global uncertainty. If those predictions prove accurate, the Wanggu deposit's value could climb from $83 billion to well over $100 billion before mining operations even begin full production. That makes it not just a treasure, but an appreciating asset that grows more valuable with each passing year. But here's what keeps geologists and mining executives awake at night. What else is down there? The discovery team found high-grade ore extending beyond their initial mapping. Peripheral drilling revealed additional gold-bearing zones. If this deposit proved this large, what other mega deposits might be waiting to be discovered in similar geological formations? China has been systematically expanding its geological survey efforts across vast regions of the country. They're using advanced technology, including satellite imaging, 3D modeling, and AI-assisted analysis to identify promising sites. The South Deep Mine in South Africa, previously considered the world's largest gold reserve, holds about 930 tons of gold. The Wanggu field potentially contains 1,100 tons or more. That 170-ton difference represents roughly $15 billion in additional value at current prices. And if deeper drilling reveals even more gold at greater depths, those numbers could climb higher still. Some geologists speculate that the deposit might extend to depths exceeding 15,000 feet, though proving this requires additional drilling that hasn't yet been conducted. Other nations have taken notice. Australia, Russia, and South Africa, all major gold producers, are intensifying their own exploration efforts. They recognize that China's discovery could shift global power dynamics in the precious metals market, and the race to find the next supergiant gold deposit has begun in earnest, with companies investing billions in exploration across promising geological zones worldwide. And somewhere, deep underground, the next discovery waits. What do you think this discovery means for the future of gold? Will it change the global economy, or is it just another big find? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that reveal the hidden world around us.